driving. So, not going to look directly at the camera, but sorry I've not been making as many videos. Obviously, life has just been wild. You know, when Abraham says, hey, people ask me, is it normal when you start studying this for all hell to break loose in your life? And she's like, yeah. Well, so it goes. Life has just been really wild, and so just working through all of that. My female bunny that usually has babies and has no problems passed away last week after giving birth, so we're hand nursing a couple of my baby bunnies, and obviously that's been painful. We've got 2 still going strong, but it has been quite a learning curve and painful and all the things. But in the middle of it, in the middle of the exhaustion and the sadness and trying to maximize every resource to learn to do something well that you've never done before. You know, being a beginner is hard enough, but being a beginner when the stakes are that high, a little life is on the line, it's just crappy situation. But I should say it feels crappy, right? But even despite all of it, I have felt so blessed. My mom ended up being able to come out early. She was going to come visit anyway. She's been helping. I don't know. Yesterday I was just feeling so blessed, and I thought, what an interesting thing in the middle of all that's happening to feel so blessed. And I realized that this last year, that this journey to happiness is so fascinating. There's so many pieces to it. It's odd. The first phase, really, when you get serious, the first phase is really shifting your beliefs, and those take a while. They're sort of underneath, and through listening and practicing and listening and practicing and living and reading, and you begin to develop a different kind of relationship with vibration and life, and all of those things have been happening over the last year. Coming to terms with I think one of the hardest things about learning to prioritize your own happiness, especially as a people pleaser, is that you're not going to be pleasing people no more. You're pleasing yourself, and that is a big shift. That can be really hard depending on your personality. For me, I can come from obligation or wanting to make other people happy, give them what they want, and can often say, you know, I can take it. I can take the sacrifice to make them happy, and I can't anymore. And so that's difficult because it's a change, but it's gradual. All of this is so gradual. And now I'm just beginning to feel, I was just driving and I was like, you know, I was listening to Abraham and I was like, wow, I'm really starting to feel and get the practice of the emotional journey on a deeper level, and having so many intense things happen. I really feel, you know, losing again more pets this last week that I love. I was reminded of when I was really little, and my first little fuzzy thing, my first little baby guinea pig passed away. And this sort of request, I think it was a rocket of desire I shot out, I wasn't aware of at the time, that was, I didn't want death to own me that way. I didn't want it to be so sad and tragic. You know, I was being taught that animals didn't have souls, and like that 3-week life or whatever was that guinea pig's life, and that was it. And all of it was too heavy for a child, especially one with as open of a heart as me. And I think with loss is one of those things where it either hardens you and you love less, or it opens your heart. And it takes a great deal of courage to keep your heart open. And I think everyone starts with a heart closing. And over time, the question is, can you become more and more resilient and keep your heart open? Can you be courageous and keep loving? And I have been able to, with blips of not. But over time, I said this is softening, and I'm beginning to reach a new place in relationship with death. And that's what I really wanted. And I see that part of this journey is it kind of has to, it doesn't have to, but for me, I get to experience loss a little bit until it's not as lossy, until I come to terms with, do I really believe what Abraham teaches, where the consciousness goes on and the physical form is just an illusion, really. It's just an interpretation. It's not what the consciousness is. It still feels like a loss to me because I'm physical, and its physical is no longer in that form. And I get to mourn that. But I do not have to mourn that this consciousness that was it is gone or out of relationship with me, or that we won't play again in another way. So that has been happening, and I have been having more peace, but it's still tragic. So up and down, and visitors, and getting ready for grad school, and just so much going on. So I've been doing a lot of Audible study, but not as much reading, and just kind of going with it. I think I'm reaching a new level here. I'll have more to bring back anyway. The world is also just going bonkers between the presidential election and the Middle East collapsing into war. I mean, all these things, I think right now I'm just working on peace in my heart and letting myself be open and loving and moving through this, because I feel this sort of transformational phase is ticking in right in the months that we're in here. And it's important to stay safe, take care of yourself, eat, drink, sleep more. Like, we all get to do a lot of self-care to get through this well, because I can see that everything is working out, and the transformation is going to be very worth it. So anyway, I just wanted to say hello, and sorry I haven't, and you're on my mind, and I'm still here, and I'm not going away, but just getting a new footing.